for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. So now we're going to move on to our swearing-in ceremony, so I'll come down to the podium with our judge.
Did you want to do roll call? Okay.
So welcome everybody. Tonight we're having our swearing-in of our 4 new council members and our city treasurer. Some are being re-sworn in. So tonight I ask that Judge Christopher Randall to please step forward. He'll be having his robe on, very official. And I'll ask each elected official to come down individually, sworn by the judge, and then we'll have you sign some paperwork and then return back to your seat. So we'll start off with our city treasurer, Larry Schultz. Go for it. Oh.
Is that the moment?
I, Larry Schultz. I, Larry Schultz. Do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm. Do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm. That I will support the Constitution and laws. That I will support the Constitution and laws. Of the United States. Of the United States. The state of Colorado. State of Colorado. And the charter and ordinances of the city. And the charter and ordinances of the city. And will faithfully perform. Will faithfully perform the duties of city treasurer. The duties of city treasurer, which I am about to assume. Which I am about to assume.
Larry, would you please sign those 2 forms? Yeah, one right here. Thank you. We'll move on to City Council. We have from District 4, Tracy Langworthy. Please step down.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tracy Langworthy, do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States, the state of Colorado, and the city and the ordinances and charter of the city, and will faithfully perform the duties of council member, District 4, of which I am about to assume.
Now I'd like to move on to District 3, George Pond. What's that? There you go.
I, George Pond, do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States, the state of Colorado, and the charter and ordinances of the city, and will faithfully perform the duties of city council member, District 3, which I am about to assume.
And now for District 2, we have Christy Davis.
I, Christy Davis, do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
Do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
the state of Colorado,
the state of Colorado,
and the charter and ordinances of the city,
and the charter and ordinances of the city,
and will faithfully perform the duties of city council member,
and will faithfully perform the duties of city council member,
District 2,
District 2,
which I am about to listen.
which I am about to do.
Congratulations.
And last but not least, Bud Stark from District 1.
I, Bud Starker,
I, Bud Starker,
do solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm
solemnly, sincerely declare and affirm
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States,
the state of Colorado,
the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances of the city,
the charter and ordinances of the city,
and will faithfully perform the duties of city council member,
and will faithfully perform the duties of city council member,
District 1,
District 1,
which I am about to listen.
which I am about to listen.
We'll sign both copies. Michael Snow, are you ready? No, just kidding. How about a round of applause for all our new candidates?
Congratulations, Joe.
We have two housekeeping issues we'll take care of right away, and then we're going to have a video from the staff on the previous council the last 8 years, and then we'll take a brief recess. I'll be right back down. Will the city clerk please take roll?
With pleasure. Davis Reinhardt.
Present.
Bud Starker.
Here.
Joyce J.
Here.
Christy Davis.
Here.
Mike Stites.
Here.
George Pond.
Present.
Joseph DeMott.
Here.
And Tracy Langworthy.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 24th, 2011? And we will have 4 abstentions tonight because one council member was absent. We have 3 new council members, so a 4 vote by the council is acceptable for the city attorney. So is there a motion to approve the minutes of October 24th, 2011?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please poll the council.
And the motion carries 4-0 with 4 abstentions by council members Starker, Pond, Davis, and Reinhardt.
Thank you. Now we're going to have the recognition of our outgoing city council members and city clerk. Yeah. I just wanted to mention we're going to have about a 9-minute video first. I wanted to turn it over to Patrick Goff. He's going to explain the video. It'll be showing up on the screen. So we'll lower that screen after he's done talking.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Well, this is I've been with the city just over 9 years, so this has been my first full 2-term council. that I've witnessed through the last 8 years. And so I thought this would be an appropriate time to take a moment and celebrate some of our successes. I'm really proud of what the city has done over the last 8 years and more. And I'm looking forward to moving forward with this new council. So congratulations to those newly elected officials. So tonight, as we prepare for this transition to a new city council, I thought it would be an appropriate time to recognize the major accomplishments the city has realized over the last several years. Staff, with the help of our videographer, Jesse, have put together a short video to highlight just a few of these major accomplishments. You're not going to see everything on here, otherwise I think we'd be here all night. So with that, I think we will roll. Heather.
Good job. So we're going to acknowledge our leaving elected officials with a plaque. Could Janice Smothers please step forward to help me out a little bit here with the flowers and the plaques for their years of service? What we have is a police badge encased in plexiglass, and it's a police badge, and this goes for each council member and our city clerk. So our first person we want to acknowledge, Michael Snow, City Clerk, 2007 through 2011. Michael? Our next person, Karen Berry, City Council District 1, 2003 through 2011.
I just want to say that elected officials come and go, but it's really city staff and the citizens that make up our city government and our community. And in Wheat Ridge, we have really passionate, dedicated, and really talented city staff and community members and citizens. And it was a great honor for me to get to work with both of those throughout the years, and I'm very blessed to have worked with them for 8 years. Thank you.
And as was mentioned earlier, Wanda Sang was our city clerk for 21 years, 1983 through 2003, and also City Council District 2 for 2003 2011. Wanda Sang. And last but not least, we have Karen Adams, City Council District 3, 2011 through 2003 through 2011. Congratulations.
I too want to thank the citizens for allowing me the honor to serve them. It has been a delight. I have enjoyed every minute of it, and I want to thank the staff for working as closely with council as they were moving ahead together as a team. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and again, to my citizens and to the citizens of Wheat Ridge, it's an incredible group, and I thank you.
So we're going to recess for a short reception out in the lobby. We'll come back at 7:45. So we'll recess until then, until 7:45. Thank you. Public who wish to speak on any item not on the agenda. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes. Others may donate their time to the speaker at the podium for a total of 9 minutes. When you are speaking at the podium, you will see a green light when you start speaking, a yellow light when you have 30 seconds left, and a red light when your time is up. So please step forward for public comment. Please spell your last name and your city and or your address. Please step forward. We're on public comment.
Nancy Snow, 11155 West 40th. First of all, I was going to thank everybody who had served, but I see they went home, but I thank them anyway. And I'll thank the one who's here, Michael Snow. And I want to congratulate everyone who was elected. But I came to speak on a certain item. First of all, thank the mayor very much for moving the pre-meeting up here where citizens can hear what's being discussed without kind of cramming yourself into that little room. And it was very nice to hear clearly the city manager describe each item on the agenda. And I would like to ask if he would do it again when that item comes up, so that it's very difficult sometimes. I've been at home and watched the council, and even with the agenda, I can't quite figure out what is going on. So if all of that were explained again for people who do come and those people who are at home, it would be really very helpful. And again, congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. We had someone signed up for public comment. I believe they're out in the lobby. Would someone please ask? Did he have to leave? Okay. So anybody else for public comment before we move on tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 1, which is Council Bill 31-2011. I'm going to open the public hearing. Councilmember DeMott.
Mr. Mayor, I have advised Councilmember Pond that on this particular agenda item, as he saw this agenda item before as a member of the council or the Planning Commission and also voted on that item as a Planning Commission member, that he needs to excuse himself from deliberation, and I suggest the best way to excuse yourself from deliberation is not be in the room. And he's in agreement with that, and I appreciate his cooperation and the council. So this would be the time for the record to indicate that he has excused himself, unless he's got more to add on that.
Thanks. We'll come
back. We'll make sure we bring him back as soon as the item is over with.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Pond, come back for item number 2. So we've opened the public hearing. Councilmember DeMott.
Thank you. Council Bill number 31-2011, an ordinance amending a combined outline and final development plan for property zoned planned industrial development located within the LNK Industrial Park, and specifically 10,700 West 50th Avenue, case number WZ1106, ATEX for T-Mobile.
Thanks. Would the city clerk please assign an ordinance number?
Yes, Council Bill 31-2011 will be assigned ordinance number 1505.
Thank you. This is quasi-judicial, so I need to swear everybody in. So please stand if you're going to speak on item number 1. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth in this matter? Thank you. Move on to staff presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. For the record, Meredith Reckert, Wheat Ridge Community Development Department. This is a request for approval of an amended combined ODP and FDP, outline development plan and final development plan, on property located within the LNK Industrial Park. I'd like to enter into the record the case file and packet materials, the zoning ordinance, comprehensive plan, and the contents of this digital presentation.
Accepted.
The property is located within the city, and all proper noticing and publication requirements have been met. Therefore, council does have jurisdiction to hear this case. You can see 10700 West 50th outlined in red. This is the primary applicant's ownership, which is the Peterson Company. The entire industrial park is located between 50th Avenue on the north, Oak Street over on the west, and Miller Street on the side. And the purpose of this ODP amendment is to allow a modification to the underlying zoning to allow CMRS towers, which stands for Commercial Mobile Radio System Towers, or cell phone towers. Because we're needing to go in and change the underlying zoning for the property, we do have to go through the zone change process. In this case, the modifications to that underlying ODP and FDP include the allowance for the actual cell towers to be put up themselves, and then also some modifications to the fencing standards and also height standards in the development. Okay, again, we are looking at the property which is outlined in red, which is the parent tract, but again, the L&K Industrial Park includes all the property located between Oak Street, 50th, and Miller Street, right here. I would point out that even though the applicant, Peterson Companies and ATEX, are specifically trying to build a tower, we thought it would be prudent to include the rest of the industrial park so that if someone else comes in and finds this as a good location, we don't have to go back and recreate the wheel again. The property was originally zoned in 1974, and if you've been out there, and as you can see in the aerial photo, there's 6 buildings on the property, and they're mostly made up of industrial, warehouse, and commercial uses, and various different businesses within the development. Now, typically, when we have a planned development with multiple ownership, we do have to make sure we've got a certain number of property owners who are in concurrence with the application. In this case, of the 12 property owners, we needed 3, and we have actually 3 owners. So this is a legal amendment to the development plan. All of those folks have signed and notarized applications in the case file. Okay, again, looking at the overall development plan, again, you can see the parent parcel, which is 10700 West 50th Avenue. They've got an existing office warehouse out there, and Peterson Company is a company that processes and distributes metal products. The existing building, which you can see in the picture, is about 17,000 square feet in size. It was the most recently built in the development, having been completed in 2006. The proposed location of the cell tower specifically is designated in pink down here at the very southeast corner of the site. And again, this white boundary represents Peterson Company's ownership. There's several different land uses surrounding the property, including to the north, across West 50th is the Rocky Mountain bottling plant. Let's see what else we've got to the south. This should be of note to council, is this green swath right in here is an easement owned by XL. It does have transmission towers that are about 100 feet tall on it with lines, and then other various commercials and industrial properties. Okay, taking a look out on the property, this picture is taken from Oak Street looking towards the east. You can see the XL towers that I mentioned that are in a separate easement or ownership from the development. This is taken from the south on one of the businesses along the frontage road. You can see the back of the Peterson Company's building. And again, the transmission tower is right on the right-hand side of the picture. This is taken from 50th Avenue looking south. Again, this is the parent parcel, the Peterson Company, 10700 West 50th. And again, you can see the 100-foot tall transmission lines owned by XL to the rear. And this is a close-up of the location for the cell tower construction. And again, just another view of that. This picture is taken looking across 50th Avenue towards the Rocky Mountain Bottle Company, and I would point out that they have buildings and mechanical appurtenances that are 60 to 80 feet tall, so well above what we're talking about tonight. This is actually the plan set that you're looking at this evening. This is the first page, which is what I call the declaration page. It's got all the signature blocks and legal descriptions, all the stuff that makes it official. It also specifically calls out the allowance of both freestanding and structure-mounted CMRS facilities up to 50 feet in height. It also addresses those standards which are being modified slightly. The first one is to allow an 8-foot-high block wall to screen the ground-mounted mechanical equipment, and then also disallows towers to go in the front yards of buildings, and also requires some fairly minimal setbacks. This second sheet shows, again, the relationship of the Peterson company ownership with the existing building located right here, and then the cell tower location down to the south of that. It's still on their property. This is the third sheet. Again, it shows the parent tract and some of the topo that's going on for the location of the tower. Site plan detail. You can see the enclosure, what's being proposed with the mechanical. Also the sector layout for the cell tower. And then this is an elevation of it. This particular monopole would be up to 50 feet high, but could not exceed that. I would also point out that the tower is being constructed so it would allow co-location by other carriers at this location. A couple photo sims. Let's see. The picture on the top is the existing view to the southwest from 50th Avenue. Again, here's the XL transmission lines with the Peterson building. You can see on the bottom photo the location and what is being depicted as what the cell tower will look like. And then another view. This is taken to the north from the frontage road. That could be, I believe it is, from the frontage road. So again, the rear of the Peterson building, the XL transmission tower, and then this is how the cell tower shows in comparison to that XL line. Because this constitutes a zone change, we do have to go through the evaluation criteria that we use when we look at a zone change, and staff has drawn the following conclusions. Number one, that the current zoning is planned industrial development, and that the existing ODP and FDP do restrict the height and allowance for accessory structures within the development. We've concluded that there's consistency with the urban renewal plan and Envision Wheat Ridge. We've concluded that there should be no impact to traffic, drainage, or light and air in the area or in the development. All of the agencies have indicated they have no problem with it, including XL. And finally, that the criteria used to evaluate an ODP amendment does support the request. Planning Commission reviewed this at a public hearing on October 9th, I believe. They did recommend approval with 3 conditions: that minor language and typographical errors be corrected, that a note be added regarding the 8-foot-high screening wall allowance, and finally that only one 50-foot-high freestanding tower be allowed per property. And I would point out that all of those conditions have been incorporated into the plan set that's being reviewed by City Council tonight. So we are giving a recommendation of approval with conditions, with no conditions. Everything has been incorporated into the plan set. And I would be open for questions at this point.
Well, thank you. We'll move on to the applicant. Is the applicant here tonight to speak on this item number 1? Yep. Please step forward and spell your last name for the record, and please state your city or your address.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Steve Warner. My last name is spelled W-A-R-N-E-R. I reside at 275 Olive Street in Denver, and I'm here representing T-Mobile.
Thank you.
I concur and acknowledge everything that's been presented in the staff report, and if I am available to answer any questions that you may have at this time. I do have with me my colleague John Keating, who is here, and also the, if I may, mention that the property owner is here as well.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to public comment and come back to you if you have any questions. Is there anybody here from the public to speak on item number 1? Seeing none, we'll move on to council discussions and questions. Questions from council? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing and a motion's in order.
I move to approve Council Bill number 31, 2011, an ordinance amending a combined outline and final development plan for property zoned planned industrial development located within the L&K Industrial Park, and specifically 10,700 West 50th Avenue on second reading, that it take effect 15 days after publication for the following reasons. Both the Kipling I-70 Urban Renewal Plan and Envision Wheat Ridge support the amendment. The evaluation criteria used to evaluate a zone change support the request.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval of item number 1 as read in the packet, second by Councilmember Reinhardt. Discussion on the motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. We'll wait for Mr. Pond to join us.
We gotta go get him.
I'm assuming.
Next item on the agenda is decisions, resolutions, and motions. Item 2 is the motion to award ITB 11-36. Councilmember Starker.
Motion to award ITB 11-36 on-call storm sewer cleaning and repair services contract to Quality Pipe Services in amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion's in order.
I move to award ITB 11-36 on-call storm sewer cleaning and repair services to Quality Pipe Services of Englewood, Colorado in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval, item number 2, seconded by Councilmember DeMott. Discussion on the main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 3 is Resolution 50-2011. Councilmember Pond.
Thank you. Resolution number 50-2011, a resolution amending Resolution 32-2011, adoption of the city budget and appropriation of sums of money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amounts specified for the city of Wheat Ridge, Colorado for the 2012 budget year, to appropriate $200,000 to the Recreation Center Fund line item 64-602-600-602.
Motion's in order.
I move to approve resolution number 50-2011, a resolution amending resolution 32-2011, adoption of the city budget and appropriation of sums of money to the various funds and spending agencies in the amounts specified for the city of Wheat Ridge, Colorado for the 2012 budget year, to appropriate $200,000 to the Recreation Fund line item 64-602-600-602.
Second.
We have a motion for approval, a second by Councilmember Stites. I would ask that the city manager just maybe briefly explain what the amendment is for, because we're shifting money from one location to another.
Yes, this is just amending the 2012 budget. There was a data entry error in the Recreation Center Fund by $200,000, so we just need to clean that up so that there are plenty of funds in the Recreation Center Fund to provide the programs and services that they intended.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item number 3, discussion on the main motion. Any comments from council? Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 4 is Resolution 52-2011. Councilmember Davis.
I'd like to introduce
Christy, can you bring your mic down a little bit?
Resolution number 52-2011, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2011 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $20,033.19 for the Foothills Animal Shelter Special Assessment. A little background, the issue is entities in Jefferson County are receiving a special assessment request from the Foothills Animal Shelter. Wheat Ridge's special assessment is in the amount of $20,033.19. The special assessment is required in order to continue operations of the shelter through the end of 2011. The special assessment is required due to unknown capital costs and actual costs to operate the new facility.
Thank you. Motion's in order.
Okay, I move to approve resolution number 52-2011, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2011 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $20,033.19 for the Foothills Animal Shelter Special Assessment.
Second.
We have a motion for approval, seconded by Councilmember Starker and Stites, I believe. Discussion on the main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 5 is a motion to accept a right-of-way. Councilmember Jay.
Motion to accept right-of-way at 7405 West 38th Avenue. At issue, a new Chase Bank is being built on 38th Avenue east of Wadsworth Boulevard on the property that previously housed the Blockbuster Video Store. To provide streetscape improvements in front of the new bank, 3.5 feet of additional street right-of-way is being dedicated to the city. Are we okay? Motion's in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to accept 3.5 feet of right-of-way at 7405 West 38th Avenue from Wheat Ridge 08A LLC.
Second.
We have a motion for approval, seconded by Councilmember Starker. Do you want to make a quick, brief statement on this, since we're doing some work over there on 38th? Mr. Paranto, or?
Yes, the new bank needs to provide 3.5 feet of additional right-of-way in compliance with the city's streetscape design manual. There's an existing 10.5 feet of right-of-way behind the existing curb to provide the 8-foot sidewalk and 6-foot amenity zone. The 3.5 foot of additional land is being requested and has been provided by the bank.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval, seconded by Councilmember Starker. Discussion on the main motion? Go ahead. Mr. Demont?
What is the right-of-way? How does the right-of-way differ closer to Wadsworth as opposed to further down 38th where it's only 4 lanes?
The right-of-way varies along 38th Street. It could vary from property to property. So the purpose of the streetscape manual is to provide uniformity for the edgings of the street. So we have a designated number of lanes in that section of 38th Street, and to have uniformity in the sidewalks and the amenity zones, which as defined in the streetscape manual. Each time there's an opportunity through redevelopment, we try to attain the standard that you've set with your streetscape manual.
So the 10.5 feet that was prior was there when probably Blockbuster, when they ripped down that old building and put Blockbuster in there?
Yes, that's the existing, yes.
And
there's a 4 or 5 foot sidewalk. I have the plans, but there was an existing sidewalk that meandered along there, and there was some landscape that was existing today along 38th at the old Blockbuster property.
I'll let you go ahead.
Just sort of a couple of follow-up questions. One of them specifically on this site. When we create the amenity zone on the particular Blockbuster parcel, do we create a disconnect with the adjoining properties as they exist today? Is there going to be a gap, or how are we going to deal with the transition to what's there today?
On the east side of the property, we come into the existing access drive into the shopping center, and so there is no transition needed. On the west side, as we transition over to the existing sidewalk, There's a reduction in the sidewalk width from 8 down to 4 or 5, and it meanders back to the existing sidewalk location. So there is a short transitional period on the west side to bring that sidewalk to the existing sidewalk.
The other questions I have are sort of broader, related to, we're in the process, I guess, of coming up with a design scheme from, I guess it's Upham to Pierce, and maybe, I guess, all the way through the whole length of 38th Avenue at some point in time. I'm not quite sure whether we're doing it in one bite or not. But in general, it was my understanding that the amenity zone was largely intended to come out of the existing right-of-way in places where the lanes are going to be used for amenities instead of through lanes broadly. Is that a correct understanding of the intent of the 38th Avenue corridor? And if there are a lot of exceptions, what drives what the exceptions is, or is it premature to ask?
I'll let Mr. Johnstone speak to that.
You're correct, Mr. Reinhardt. The goal in the Main Street section is defined in the 38th Avenue corridor plan, which this is not in. Right. This is the transition area where we're keeping the same amount of laneage. But in that Main Street area immediately to the east, there's generally a 60-foot right-of-way. There's no less than that. There's a few areas where there's a little more than that, up to 70 feet. So we've been planning around for the rebuild option, which is not the short-term option, but something that we're planning for something that would go in that 60-foot right-of-way. It wouldn't require any additional right-of-way. With the 3-lane road section, we'd be able to get essentially a little lesser standard, but a 6-foot amenity zone and a 6-foot sidewalk within that 60-foot right-of-way. Now, if in actually designing that section, when it becomes more of a construction document, I think we could consider other options, but for planning purposes, we wanted to see what we could achieve in that existing right-of-way.
Is it, and in the event that we had a circumstance where, I guess the amenity zone and the sidewalk or something to hold the street section to our new design required some physical construction on what's now private property, is there alternatives other than the right-of-way? I mean, is it conceivable we could work with easements for, construction easements or something like that? I mean, would it always be necessary to actually take right-of-way to accomplish the streetscape area if there was some very small incremental, or does it matter?
Right. Maybe let Tim speak to this as well, but I think our preference is always to take right-of-way if we can. And the other option is to take an easement, and that can be an acceptable means as well. I think one interesting point, because of the zoning in the area, which essentially is a build-to requirement that you push your building towards the street between 0 and 10 feet, there's not really much of a benefit for the private property owner to be able to say, it's an easement as opposed to a right-of-way. Typically, it would be a setback benefit by having an easement as opposed to right-of-way. So I think it's cleaner if we get the right-of-way.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm probably off point pretty far here, so I'm done. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for staff? Mr. Dumont?
Is there any compensation awarded to these people, given to these people for giving this land to us? And, there's no monetary compensation in the thing, but is there any kind of design plan, assistance or anything given to, I know that further down there's a lot of properties that come who have parking lots right to the sidewalk, who when they develop they're going to lose not 3.5 feet, but say 11 feet, 10 feet or 11 feet of their property lines. Will there be something that we can maybe talk about some sort of development assistance compensation for them, or is there anything to, kind of benefit them with our streetscape plan?
Well, typically, if a project is initiated by a property owner, then the city would typically ask that any dedication be made without cost. If it's a city-initiated project, then typically the city then would be required or would normally offer compensation for right-of-way that would be purchased. So that's kind of the defining point between the two is that if you want to build a new project on your property and you're meeting all the new standards, then if you want to build your project, you're going to have to provide this extra land at no cost. But if the city's going to initiate a project that you're not necessarily involved with, then the city would end up having to compensate you for the property they take.
Any other comments? I guess the only concern Ms. J.
I wanted to confirm that based on the landscape manual, the landscape selection would be based on the manual and the building owner would be responsible for its upkeep. That's correct?
That's correct.
I guess I wanted to make one comment. I have to agree with Councilmember Reinhardt, is that would an easement work better in this case as we go through this process, that we're not taking land from private property owners in a continual basis, but actually have the easement? And would that be able to be done tonight, or would you have to bring it back if it was going to be an easement rather than a taking of the property to the city? Just that's a question for anybody.
We'd have to have them provide a different document, and there is some complication in doing that. If they own the property, they have to pay taxes on it. And so depending on the property owner, they may or may not want to own this 3-foot strip of land. They have liability. There's all kinds of other issues, and the bank was very willing to provide, in this instance, the extra 3 foot of land. But so it is another discussion we'd have to go back to the bank and talk about, and they may or may not be interested in having having the sidewalk on their property in an easement.
Any other questions or comments from council? So we have a motion to approve, and that was seconded. Was there any amendments to this motion before we vote? Okay, please poll the council.
And the motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 6 is a motion to approve a payment to TI Training. Councilmember Demott.
Thank you. A motion to approve payment to TI Training in the amount of $40,960 for a decisional shooting system for the police department. In February of 2009, the police department requested funds from the Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant for the purpose of purchasing a use of force simulation system that would allow police officers to safely practice force options. Such a system is often called a decisional shooting system. Motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to approve payment to TI Training of Golden, Colorado in the amount of $40,960 for a decisional shooting system.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve item number 6. It was seconded by Councilmember Stites. Discussion on item 6. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. I just wanted to give council a heads up. I think somebody's rubbing the mic, and these are new speakers up here, so it's carrying over when you're leaning over, maybe hitting the mic here. So just be aware that it's carrying over all these mics. It sounds like someone's rubbing their head against the computer. So, item 7 is a motion to award RFP 11-38. Councilmember Reinhardt.
I'd like to introduce a motion to award RFP 11-38 metal bus shelters to Dicamel, Orlando, Florida, in the amount of $178,750. In March 2011, the Colorado Department of Transportation awarded the city a state funding advancement for surface transportation and economic recovery, FASTER, transit grant for the purchase and installation of 30 bus stop shelters with supporting fixtures. On October 12, 2011, 5 bids were received for the metal bus shelters project. All the bids met the initial bid requirements. The apparent low builder was Decamil, I guess that's from Orlando, Florida. For the base bid total amount of $178,750, staff recommends awarding the bid. Is a motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to award RFB 11-38 metal bus stop shelter to Decamil from Orlando in the amount of
$78,750.
Second.
We have a motion for approval, a second by Councilmember Starker. Discussion on main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 8 is a motion to accept Lena Gulch. Councilmember Stites.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion to accept Lena Gulch drainage easements to allow improvements at 2979 and 3029 Vivian Street. Two property owners on Vivian Street have requested the stabilization of Lena Gulch across their properties. The Urban Drainage and Flood Control District has agreed to build these improvements. Drainage easements have been provided to allow the work in progress. Is a motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to accept the drainage easements from Geraldine Vanderveer, 2979 Vivian Street, and Karen Huff, 3029 Vivian Street.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval, a second by Councilmember Pond. Discussion on the main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 9 is Resolution 51-2011. Councilmember Langworthy.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 51-2011, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2011 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $13,957 for the upgrade of the WRTV8 Community Bulletin Board software for 2011. Should the city council approve a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $13,957 for the upgrade of the Wheat Ridge TV8 Community Bulletin Board software? I guess I'd like to note that the money comes from PEG fees, which are public education government fees collected on Comcast cable bills, correct? So, and the only money can only go for improvements to equipment and not to people. So this won't come out of the general fund budget. The motion in order?
Thank you. Motion's in order.
I move to approve resolution number 51-2011, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2011 general fund budget to reflect the approval of a supplemental budget appropriation in the amount of $13,957 for the upgrade of the Wheat Ridge TV8 Community Bulletin Board software.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval, a second by Councilmember DeMott. Discussion on item 9. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 10 is the motion to elect Mayor Pro Tem. What we'd like to do tonight is we'll have nominations from the floor, and then after those nominations are taken, we'll allow those people who are nominated to speak on why they think they would be right for the position. So right now I'm going to open the floor just for nominations right now, and then we'll keep track of who was nominated. Then we'll move back to allow those people to speak. Mr. Starker.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Davis Reinhardt for the office.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Mr. DeMott.
I'd like to nominate Mike Stites.
Any other nominations from the floor? So we have two nominations, Councilmember Reinhardt and Councilmember Stites. I'm going to close the nomination process. I'd like to ask each nominee to speak. Mr. Reinhardt.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've given my desire to serve in this role a considerable amount of thought, particularly since I became aware that Councilor Stites was also interested in serving. I did decide to continue to pursue it, even though I contemplated withdrawing, because I do believe I have some unique skills that I can put before the council to allow them to make that decision. And I do like to speak to that. This council has some long history of a divided politics, alliances, votes behind closed doors, and sort of those things. And I'd like to be a part and a leader in continuing to improve on that situation, which I believe it's doing. But I don't think that could be done by going about a divisive policy and lobbying behind closed doors, has in the past. And so I have not reached out as individuals to the other members of council while I was contemplating this to try and lobby, so to speak. And outside the chamber. I wanted that discussion to happen here. I do believe that my background does offer one thing, which is I think use and you may decide is valuable. In addition to the fact that I do believe I can fairly administer the duties within the council that do it, but I also believe that I would like to work towards extending the influence of the city and its participation regionally, and I have some special backgrounds which may be helpful and may influence that decision. I have had the opportunity over a period of time to speak before several other city councils on a business level, including Westminster, Denver, and Aurora, and I'm also on a reasonably good basis with the mayors of Denver, Aurora, Arvada, and I'm missing one, but and I think that maybe I can find a way to use that to promote the city. And in addition to that, what I'd like to focus on top of the normal duties is taking a look and making sure in a more rigorous way that we've reached out to all of the community agencies, the JEC, the Municipal League, and some of those, and make sure we've collected all of the information and get attendance at all the hearing, bring that information back to the council, as well as our opportunity to present our needs and our desires in those regional settings in a more consistent, rigorous way. And I think given my professional situation, I think I would have an opportunity to add a little extra to the council if they honor me by choosing me in that capacity. So, but regardless, if they make some different decision, I will absolutely support Councilman Stites fully in everything he tries to do if he becomes Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stites?
Well, I think that all of us, as of tonight, have taken an oath of office where we will represent the city at any time, wherever we're at. And there are different committees and particular assignments that council would have. So someone might be, I know someone will be Dr. Cog and particular things like that. So by no means do you ever think you're going to skirt representing this city when you're out, because you're going to be there. There's no doubt in my mind that we have had problems the last few years. I would stress working together. I would stress that each team in each district has to work together. We've got to get back to that philosophy, because this working against each other just doesn't handle it anymore. It used to be, I think the last few years, what we did around here was count to 5. That was easy. You count to 4 and let the mayor break the tie. That was easy. But we got to get away from that. When I was Mayor Pro Tem a few years ago, I was very happy and pleased that we had more 8-0 votes at that time, because I worked with everybody. It's easy to count to 5, but in a study session or a particular thing, for instance, if something came 6-2 or whatever, I would work with those two to find out what we could do to compromise it out or whatever, because I think it's much better that we vote unanimous on stuff than it is working against each other. So that would be my deal. I'm accessible. I'm here. At any time you can get a hold of us. Working with staff is no problem. We've always worked together. But I do think, and I would really push, that we have to work together. It's mandatory that we work together, and it's also mandatory that each team in each district works together, and that's what we got to get back on, that philosophy.
Thank you. So at this point, there's a paper ballot in your packets. I would ask that you please, Mr. Stites, or Mr. Snow, you have some?
Right here. You won't find it in your packet, so if you'll forgive this actually says member to be nominated. I realize you made your nominations already. This is actually your voting sheet.
Different than that one?
It is different. Since I have this one, you can keep
Okay, we'll just take one from the
and I'll pass this one around. So there's exactly 8 here. There's not one for the mayor, so I
hope there's not
the wrong one. There you go. Everybody will take one and pass them down. There's exactly 8 for the council members. Place your vote there and then fold it just a single time in half, and then pass them back this way.
Isn't the same thing.
It says the same thing.
Yeah, it says the same thing we had in our packet.
It's okay.
Okay.
I understand.
You just wanted us to have fresh ones?
I had fresh ones in my hand. It felt better to provide you another one.
This is actually you're voting for somebody on a paper ballot right now.
So do we get 2 each? Is that the deal?
No.
Yeah.
Only Davis
And the
Reinhardt.
one already did. I'm not looking at what she's voting. That's all right. I'll tell you. I'm too transparent. I should put in order, but I didn't. Not order, but pull these sides. Oh.
Okay, and then if you give you a moment.
In the same direction. Do you? I do it now.
The results are exactly what the mayor was hoping for. We have 4 votes for Davis Reinhardt, and we have 4 votes for Mike Stites.
Well, I thought this wasn't going to happen tonight. I would have to agree with Councilmember Reinhardt and Mr. Stites, Councilmember Stites, that in the past there's been, I don't think there was votes behind the scenes, but there was a lot of lobbying going on, a lot of different things that were destructive to the process, especially when things were opposed based on who sponsored them or opposed because of other issues. I think that this new council, I really have a lot of faith in the new council that no matter who's mayor pro tem, whether it's Councilmember Reinhardt or Councilmember Stites, both could fairly do the job. And I believe that we're going to move forward with a good work ethic with everybody on city council this year. And but at this point, I'll go ahead and vote for Councilmember Stites on the paper ballot.
May I speak?
Sure.
I'd like to be the one to formally nominate Councilor Member Stites to be Mayor Pro Tem so we can vote officially.
Let's go ahead and read the motion out of the packet. It says I moved it, yeah.
I missed that. My bad. Yeah. I move to elect Councilor Stites as Mayor Pro Tem, effective immediately, term to expire upon election of his successor.
Is there a second?
I second it.
We have a motion for approval for Councilmember Stites for Mayor Pro Tem. That's for 1 year. It was seconded by Councilmember Jay. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda for the evening. We'll move on to city manager's matters.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple quick updates and announcements. Like everybody to know that our annual holiday lighting ceremony is Sunday, December 4th. I guess that's this Sunday coming up, yeah. 6 p.m. at the Wheat Ridge Recreation Center. There will be live entertainment, Santa Claus and his elves, games, refreshments, and it's all free. So come one, come all, 6 p.m. at the Recreation Center. I'd also like to talk about the Passport to Wheat Ridge. This is an Enterprise Wheat Ridge shop local promotion. Like council to know that the city will participate in this program by encouraging employees to shop in Wheat Ridge, completing their passport, and entering to win a $100 gift certificate to a Wheat Ridge business of their choice. So the city's going to do their part to help promote that effort. One other quick update or date announcement. The Martins Elementary School site neighborhood meeting is going to be held on Wednesday, November 30th at 6:30 p.m. And that's going to be at the Recreation Center. The surrounding neighborhoods in that area were notified of the meeting. So that's all I have.
Thank you. City attorney's matters?
None other than to congratulate the members of the council who have been elected and reelected, and to tell you that, you know, the reason my practice is exclusively local government is because I really believe in that level of government as being the most effective and efficient. And the only way that happens is not because of staff, but because of you who give your time to this work. The rest of us, it's our jobs, and we love our jobs, and I do, but you're the ones who are actually giving of your time to to serve up here, and it's something I've always had great respect for and want you to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk's matters?
Oh, just a couple tidbits of information. As you know, we're well underway with the ensuing runoff election, our first ever. We've had some pretty strong turnout, believe it or not. I got one box this morning of, I don't know, perhaps 1,000 returned ballots already. So people are encouraged, and that's good. I'm always happy to see participation. Of course, it's easier when someone else is doing the counting, but I won't mention that. I will say the Election Commission, and I haven't actually announced this to existing candidates or to the council, the Election Commission has adopted further regulations and procedures, and we'll be distributing those later this week. They are more in detail of exactly how the treatment of ballots will take place when they're returned, and the canvassing and the counting and all that. So you're welcome to read those and make comments if you wish. Let's see what else. There's certainly a lot of misinformation, I suppose, and there always is confusion about elections, concerns about whether or not people were supposed to have registered to vote again, not understanding that there's just one registration database in the entire state for all elections. Other confusion about where to return them. I know that people are trying to return them to the motor vehicles offices in Jefferson County and numerous places. I can't possibly run down all the different things that people get a little bit confused about, since this is such a different situation. I guess I would just ask the council. I want the community to know. They can always contact us, but also encourage council members to know and understand these things and help our neighbors and our constituents to participate and know what to do with their ballots, that sort of thing. Any questions, just contact our office and we'll help you out and get things set straight. That is it, but I do welcome as well our new council members. Very excited to have all of you here, and it's been an honor serving as clerk. Thanks.
Thank you. I just wanted to send out a few thank yous. I wanted to thank our past elected officials tonight who were recognized. Karen Berry, Karen Adams, one to sang, and Michael Snow somewhat, since you're still in the seat for a few more weeks. So congratulations and thank you for all of your hard work the last 4, 8, whatever years, 6 years. And I wanted to thank also Councilmember Sang for being our city clerk for 21 years before she was on council for 8 years. That's a lot of service to the city, almost 30 years. So congratulations to all the elected officials, past and present. And I want to congratulate our new elected officials on board, Bud Starker, George Pond, and Christy Davis. I just wanted to give the citizens an update. We had a great orientation meeting last Monday. Everybody was on board talking to each other. And the main thing I see coming down the pike here is that this body of 8 or 9, depending on the situation, will be able to trust each other with information. And if one person says, this is what's going on, that there'll be a trust factor that we really need on the council to move forward as a city, trusting staff, trusting each other, that we're working on the best possible information that we have. And I really didn't want to have to break a tie on Mayor Pro Tem tonight, but that's part of the job. I really want to work with Councilmember Reinhardt this next 2 years as mayor, and I want to work with Councilmember Stites and all 6 other council members on any projects and issues that come forward. Because if we're divided and not trusting each other, we're going to get some things done like we did the last 8, but it's going to be a lot more brain damage. And I think we could have some fun and enjoy what we're doing as we go along this path. And like it's been said, when we're elected officials, we're all representing the city of Wheat Ridge. I noticed you didn't say you had a good relationship with the Wheat Ridge mayor. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But we do have good contacts. We do have good contacts with other elected officials and other staff within the Jefferson County and Denver metro area. So I think that Davis brings some strong suits in that area, and so does Bud Starker and George, working for the city of Denver or the zoo. So we got a lot of great contacts, administration with hospitals. So we have a good mix of folks on the council this year. So congratulations. And then I'll move. Normally at this type of time, we'll have everybody just say a few words if they wanted to. So under elected officials matters, Mr. Reinhardt.
Just want to welcome the new councilors and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Davis?
I just want to thank everyone for the warm welcome. And double check one more thing. Ballots. When's the last day they're due?
Oh, I should have mentioned that. They are due by 7 p.m. December 13th.
December 13th. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Starker?
I'd like to thank all of you for the introductions that you've done and for making me feel welcome to be on council. I would also like to thank the staff for putting together the package that we had tonight. I've sat on other deliberative bodies, and the quality of information that we got I thought was excellent. So it was kudos to the staff. I'd also like to thank all the people who voted in the election, both for me and for my opponents. I think it's the strength of our democracy for people to come out and vote, so I appreciate that, and I look forward to sitting here and working on the people's business. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pond?
Thank you. I want to echo the thanks to everyone, staff and council, existing and past council, for support. I look forward to working with everyone.
Ms. Jay?
Welcome once again to everyone. Thank Tracy Langworthy, who did a lot to make sure we had a ceremony tonight, as well as the educational information for the new people at our meeting a week ago. And the third thing I'd like to mention is kind of way off the center, but 2020 has been providing information to 38th Avenue businesses and commercial businesses on 38th Avenue. And what it is an energy audit. And what they discovered is that the 106 commercial structures on the corridor on 38th Avenue were built from 1934 to 1968. This time frame is not conducive to be efficient as far as energy use, and at the same time, Excel is doing some wonderful rebates up to 2011, working with companies that are replacing their light bulbs, and there's some wonderful rebates on those. So it would behoove any business that's even thinking about this to get in touch with 2020. They'll help you get through the audit and save you some future money on your energy bills. So,
Ms. Langworthy?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to echo everybody's sentiment. I'm really looking forward to another 4 years of this. I wouldn't have thought that some time ago, but I am looking forward to working with everyone and really helping Wheat Ridge become, what we all hope is the best place for people, and where people are vying to get in here instead of, trying to get into some of the other parts of town. I'd also like to make a quick reminder. I believe Wheat Ridge High School students came in some time ago about this, but on Saturday, December 3rd at 7 p.m., they will be performing Alice in Wonderland at Wheat Ridge High School, and the tickets are only $9, so it's a really affordable evening and entertainment, which then you can follow up on Sunday with the holiday lighting for free. So I hope that we get out and support Wheat Ridge High School and their acting department.
Thank you. Councilmember Dumont?
Thank you. I also want to just welcome all the new council members and congratulate not only them, but all the candidates in the election. We had pretty good turnout, and I know everybody worked real hard, and I just want to thank everybody, all the candidates, for their participation and interest in the city.
Thanks. Councilmember Stites?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Too bad. I was sitting there watching everybody take their oath of office tonight, and it reminded me when I first took mine, of which I carry with me to every meeting and every day, because I take that very, very, very seriously. So the work starts now, and we are going to work together. We're going to get stuff done. As usual, this is a great time to relocate either your business or home to Wheat Ridge. If you need any help, check with one of us or staff. They'll be happy to do it. Please try to do one positive thing for your family, your neighborhood. We may have snow coming up, so check your neighbors. Make sure they might need help with plowing their snow and shoveling their walks or whatever. Also, before I forget, it'll be the last time I think that we'll have a meeting on 38th Avenue, which is December 7th at the Rec Center from 7 to 9:30, I think it is, in the morning. If you're a citizen or especially a business person on 38th, please come down and take a look at the plan. it's our time. We pushed for it to have the businesses with a meeting for that, so that's it. So please, if you're a business or anybody would like to come down, I think it's going to be open format on it, but December 7th, 7 o'clock in the morning till 9:30, I think it is, at the rec center. And as always, please try to find it and buy it in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to also thank Janice Smothers, who put the orientation manual together with staff, and she did a great job, and that manual now will be available for all the new councils coming in the future. And then, as Councilmember Langworthy mentioned, there's a play coming up at the high school, but if you do watch Channel 8, there's some previous plays being displayed on Channel 8 from the high school, and they'll go back 1 or 2 years, and they're running different versions of those plays on Channel 8. So with that, one last thing I wanted to mention, we need to, I wanted to remind council, we have some new council members, some council members that left that were on Dr. Cog CML, so I think those appointments should come forward as soon as possible, so council can make those new appointments for CML, Dr. Cog, and whatever else needs to be done. So if you can, those should be probably on the next regular business meeting if they can. Would you agree with that? I mean, we need to get JEC appointed and CML and a few others.
Yeah, we'll have to get that list out. I saw the list here not too long ago, but we'll have to get it out.
I was actually assuming that we would take it up at a study session real quick, just go through the whole list.
Do you want to do it at a study session or just put them on the dais and vote on them at the next meeting?
I thought it might be easier to just talk about it for a few minutes first, but just because go through the whole list and just see what to do. But
December 19th study session, would that be possible? Yeah, that's when the circus comes in.
Yeah. And we'll make sure
I'm not being facetious.
No, I know.
The Zoppy circus.
No, I got it. But no, I mean, we could do it on the dais too. I just thought there might be more dialogue than.
We'll make sure that list gets out ahead of time, so if you see anything and you may want to speak up for it, that's fine.
Yeah.
The 19th, it'll be on the study session, just so everybody can see what they want to do. So, okay, with that,
thank you.
We're adjourned.